Hi. Welcome to, what's this show called? I Don't Manga. Welcome to I Don't Manga. And today, we're going to be discussing the title of today's video, One Piece, and why I love it. Alright guys, we'll see you next time. Make sure to like, comment, oh yeah, I don't give a shit. So, I have the volume right here. I'm actually playing this. So I'm on, currently, when I'm reading One Piece, I'm on the 7th volume, which to most fans, you would say that's not very much. And to almost every One Piece fan, they're like, oh, you gotta read to Arlong Park, you gotta read to Alabasta, you gotta read to, I don't know. It's just up to one of those, right? And for me personally, I've heard people say that, you know, like, I watched One Piece. I watched up till, I'm like in the middle of Skype. I'm not like in the middle of Skype. I stopped watching One Piece after, you know, reading, like, you know, actually getting into manga. Because I knew I was going to read One Piece one day, so there'd be no point in me watching the manga. So, I got the first volume, or I got the box set, and I was like, you know what, let me go start reading One Piece. And most people, you know, as I said, most people would say that, oh, you're gonna cry in Arlong Park, you're gonna cry during Chopper's backstory, you're gonna cry during this, during that. Me personally, the first time I ever cried during One Piece was Chopper's backstory. I didn't cry during Arlong Park, and I have cried 2 separate times. And I haven't even reached Arlong Park yet. I've cried 2 separate times. The first time when, okay, spoilers for One Piece, obviously. The first time when Usopp left the Usopp Pirates and he found out about his mom. And like the reason he was, you know, shouting about, oh, the pirates are coming, was because he actually wanted them to come and he wanted to see his dad again. That was very sad. I cried. Second time I cried was when Zoro faced Mihawk, and he was about to die, and he shouted to Luffy, I'll never, ever lose again. That made me cry too. So, I've cried 2 separate times at points where in the fan base's advice, or the fan base's ideals, or in the fan base in general, in the average, I shouldn't have cried at. Well, I did. So, how do I explain this? It depends on where you're at One Piece, but there's always that certain moment that you immediately are hooked onto One Piece. That certain moment for me was probably, okay, spoilers for One Piece. I'm going to say spoilers for One Piece the entire video. Bellemere's death. That was probably the point where I was like, yeah, this is a good show. Originally, I thought of it as like kind of like Pokemon, where it was like, it's okay, whatever. It was for kids. I'll watch it. And I was, thank godly, mistaken. And how am I supposed to say all these things when I've only read till the 7th volume? And I know Sanji's gonna make me cry. I know his backstory is gonna make me cry. Shut up. I know it's gonna make me cry. I know Nami's gonna make me cry. I know Chopper's gonna make me cry. I know fucking, who's the last person? Robin's gonna make me cry. I know. And that's really where I'm at One Piece. Anyone else, I don't know. I know, like, Frankie is going to be added, and because I got spoiled on that, but whatever. We didn't even meet him in the anime yet, so it doesn't even matter to me. So, the main point I'm trying to bring up in this video is we're 4 minutes into it, and I haven't given a single reason why I like One Piece. Number 1, character building. The characters are phenomenal in this. They all act as they should. They all act how Oda, or the mangaka, portrays this. How it portrays the characters. Immediately, you get to know Luffy as a kid and the whirlpool scene. Immediately, you get to know who he is, and he sticks by that throughout the entire manga. Or at least the 7 volumes that I've read. I don't know. It might go to total shit, but the fact that it has 100 volumes, it probably means it didn't. So I'm just going to safely assume that all the pros I'm going to list are correct. Now, and that, you know, this sounds like, you know, not that big of an accomplishment. Like, oh, whatever, you know, that's the point of characters. I have read a lot of manga, okay? I've read Actually, I haven't read that much manga, I'll be honest. But I've watched a lot of anime. And no, like, they never stick to characters, ever. Like, have you read Demon Slayer? They're the king of this. And that's not a good thing. You're more of like the asshole of this. So the characters stay in line with the actual characters, which is amazing. And the character the character dynamics too. Like I'm at the point where it's just Luffy, Usopp, Zoro, and Nami. It's only those four, and then they're gonna get Sanji eventually. I'm at that point, and the characters bounce off each other so well. Obviously, Luffy has his relationship with everybody. Zoro and Nami hate each other. You know, Sanji is a simp to Nami. Luffy and Sanji, they got that certain relationship. Zoro and Sanji, they got that rivalry. So there's so many different character dynamics, and the characters bounce off each other so well. It's a beautifully written way to create characters. And to be honest, characters are my favorite part about manga. Just in general, characters are my favorite part about manga. Just like story-wise. Like if you had like a amazing plot, 10 out of 10, but you had like half-ass characters, I'm gonna give you like a 5 out of 10. Except if it's like Blue Lock, then like Blue Lock and like you're not really supposed to get to know the characters, and it's okay. But anything else really where it's character driven and the characters aren't good, then I'm just not gonna like it. I think that's with any like thing, if you like the characters or not, if you care or not. So also say this story is character driven. If a character does something, that's gonna affect the plot, which is great. Like Nami leaving the crew to and stealing the treasure and going there to go to Online Park. That wasn't a plot convenience. That was just Nami doing what Nami does. She's a pirate thief. She steals. Eventually, I know in the anime you get to know why she steals, so that she can pay off her village. But it's great to see that these characters are doing things that you would reasonably think of. In a world like One Piece, where there's so many wacky characters and different character designs, you could honestly see these people in real life. Not physically, but personality-wise, yes. That brings me to my number 2, world building. Now, I'm only at a little certain part of the story, volume 7, and I know people are like, oh my god, the world building's so amazing. I mean, have you seen chapter 867 of One Piece? No, I have not. I'm on chapter, like, 30, so it's great. Not on chapter 30, I'm a little ahead of that. It's such a, it kind of feels like you're going on this giant adventure, and you're having tiny little mini adventures in between, you know what I mean? So, like, Luffy, like, you would think that, okay, let's say you hear about something happening in a different city or a different neighborhood, right? And you're like, oh my god, that's so sad, you hear it on the news. That's what Zoro, Nami, that's what the Straw Hats are doing. Like, they're actually experiencing that in the wild. They're actually experiencing, and that's great, because it's not like they show up and then immediately it's like it's the city festival. Like, they just show up to this random village and see this random guy named Usopp. And they're like, okay, come join the team, you're brave. If you think about it, there are millions of Usopps out there who want to become a pirate just like Usopp. But Usopp was chosen because they just happened to go on this random island that Usopp was on. Isn't that crazy to think about? Like, think about how big the world is. Oh, the mangaka for this, Oda, really can amazingly display how big the world is just compared to how small the characters are. Like, Zoro wanted to become the best swordsman in the world, already proved himself. Faces Mihawk, gets absolutely destroyed. Then you're thinking, okay, he's the best in the world. How many people is he gonna have to fight to actually defeat Mihawk? So there's this ongoing conflict, ongoing journey that's just beautifully written and beautifully, like, drawn to. It's amazing. It's great. What else do I have to say about the, the pacing. This is the final thing I want to talk about. The pacing. Now, I know what you're wondering. What do you mean the pacing? You're on 7 volumes and you're only at the, Sanji, whatever. The pacing's too slow or the pacing's too fast, whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't think anyone's saying the pacing's too fast. But I think I realized, like, in the beginning when I was reading volume 1 and 2, I was like, this sucks. I don't really like the manga that much. And the reason is because I didn't like the pacing at all. I thought the pacing was too slow. And then I got to Peso's story, Choo-Choo. That's his name, Choo-Choo's story. And then I remembered why I loved One Piece, at least the anime, was because it was slow. Because it took its time to develop its story, its characters, its plot. I almost cried during Choo-Choo, by the way. I should probably mention that. I'm probably saying his name completely wrong. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't care that much. And it had its moments that if you just skipped over in 1 or 2 panels or 1 or 2 pages, which, you know, I guess One Piece did, it wouldn't be that impactful. But the reason it's slow is because it's careful with its time. But also, okay, I should probably make this clear. Speed can be a conus. What did I just say? A conus? It can be a curse, but it can also be a gift. It can also be a blessing. See, when you have a fast-paced manga, it's action, 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 100% way through, and it should be amazing art, and it's good. You can take stuff like Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, you know, stuff like that. I watched those animes, or I didn't read Jujutsu Kaisen or watch it, but I read Demon Slayer, and I watched My Hero Academia, and I watched Demon Slayer. So I can, you know, tell with that stuff. But then you have stuff that's a little bit slower paced, you know, something that's a lot, you know, and when you have stuff like fast paced, it's very action heavy, but you don't really care that much about the characters. They're one note. You don't really get to delve in and flesh out the characters. In One Piece, that's the complete opposite. It's like the opposite of Dr. Stone. You know what I mean? Like, Dr. Stone's very fast paced. Like, they create, okay, spoilers for Dr. Stone. They create electricity in, like, the third volume, which is, you know, crazy. I still love the series, but they create, like, electricity in the 3rd volume. Like, isn't that, like, really hard to make? So, why am I talking all about this? Well, the reason I'm talking about this is because if you have a slow-paced manga, there's a fine line that you can dance through, or that you need to dance through when you have a slow-paced manga and or a fast-paced manga, that is, if you had a slow pace, it's boring to character-driven, or character development, if you know what I mean. If you take something like My Hero Academia, right, and you put a school arc that doesn't matter that much, people are just going to say it's filler. But if you take something like One Piece and you put something like that, that's just part of the story, because it's not a shift in tone. You get what I'm saying? My Hero Academia, if you did that with My Hero Academia, it would be a shift in tone, because My Hero Academia is just fast-paced, non-stop action. There's no character development whatsoever in that series. And that's what I don't really like about shonen anime, or shonen manga. I love shonen manga, don't get me wrong. But if you just take something boring like Black Clover or something, I mean, I'm not that far into Black Clover, but I'm volume 26. It's a bit boring. And that's just because the characters aren't fleshed out enough. They're very, very one note. Can you tell me anything about Asta that's not, he wants to be the magic guy? He wants to be the king of the wizards? And he's goal driven? Can you tell me anything else? Can you tell me anything else about Bakudo that isn't he's an asshole? No, I didn't think so. But can you tell me a list of things about Luffy, or Zoro, or Nami? Yes, you can, because One Piece takes its times, and it's really appreciated. And the thing it doesn't do, which it's such a hard thing not to do, is to not go into, you know, not be boring. Because as soon as One Piece starts to get boring, it shifts the pace, and it gets a lot faster. I think once I started getting bored was when there was no action and they just arrived to Orange Town. Then Choo-Choo shows up, and then the mayor shows up, and then the guy with the giant lion shows up, and there's this huge sad thing about Choo-Choo protecting his treasure. Again, it made it not boring for me. The manga just knows how to dance between this line of boringness and just slow-paced It's just a slow-paced story, and he knows how to dance around it beautifully. And I think that's really the main point I love about One Piece. And since he's able to do this, since he's able to go through the slow pace without being a slow burn, he can make you care more about the characters. Like, Zoro losing is such a huge point in One Piece and Zoro's career in general as a swords master. Zoro has never lost, at least that we know of, except to his, what was it, the blue-haired girl, Karina? Something like that. I'm just going to call her Karina. I don't give a shit. Right? He has never lost except to her. And we can just assume he's never lost. But now he finally does. He loses. And that's heartbreaking to see. Because he wants to become the best. He wants to be the best swordsman alive. But he can't. And it's heartbreaking to see because you've taken time with these characters. You've gotten to know the characters. That is why One Piece is so great. That's it. I don't know how to do an outro. That's all I wanted to talk about. I actually, right here, I have a list. Right there. I have, it's right there. It's my iPad. Okay. My iPad is right there. I'm looking at it. And it's showing me the list of things I want to talk about. So, in my opinion, that is why One Piece is so great. I'll probably do another review on it. Maybe I'll rank the arcs. You know, maybe I'll do something like that when the time comes. If like I can actually finish One Piece, we never know. I'm what, 7% of the way there? Yeah. So One Piece is great. It's amazing. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I actually loved it. The only thing I would say is it's just, again, you can't do this perfectly. I don't think anyone has ever done this perfectly where you can get from, you know, boringness to amazingness to like just a slow-paced manga. You can't do that perfectly, so at some points it's a bit boring. And at some points it's kind of like, oh, why are we really here? You know, we could just leave, you know, whatever. You know, there's just that little tiny nitpicks. If it wasn't for that, it would be an absolute masterpiece. I'm going to change my mind. It's going to be a 10 out of 10. You already know it. I just need to read the rest of the manga. That's all I need to do. I just need to read to whatever arc you think is your favorite. And then I'm going to put it at a 10 out of 10. Okay. So just wait on that. It's like literally 2 volumes ahead of me, Arlong Park, and it's already there. It's like a 9.9 out of 10. I know it's going to be a 10 out of 10. Just give me time. Please. Thank you. Alright. So that's all I got to say for today. Make sure you leave. Leave. I want you to do it right now. Leave. I'm waiting. I don't have a watch on my wrist, but if I did, I would definitely look at it. Alright, I stalled for enough time. One Piece is great. Read it. It's amazing. This video has gone for too long. And it's too long. 19 minutes. That's 19 minutes of your life wasted. Alright, thank you. Bye.